हेलो सुनील, गुड मॉर्निंग। मुझे प्रेजेंटेशन राइट देना।
सर कुछ बोल रहे थे सर?
हाँ, मुझे प्रेजेंटेशन राइट देना। मैं इंट्रोड्यूस करने के बाद फिर ले लेगा।
ठीक है। अरे कोई जरूरत नहीं है, आई इंट्रोड्यूस माय सेल्फ।
नहीं नहीं सर, वो हम फॉर्मल। सर प्लीज। थैंक यू। सुनील, कैमरा लगा लिया। सर को कंफर्टेबल प्लेस पे ले लेना, है ना?
दो स्टेटमेंट्स, नथिंग एल्स।
थैंक यू सुनील।
एक बार हो। Vinit, this is too long an introduction. Just you may just say that it's 41 years I've been teaching here, and these two are the major areas of my research. That is all.
सुनील, हम शुरू कर सकते हैं ना?
हाँ सर।
चलो ठीक है। आई थिंक आई विल स्टार्ट ना। Yeah, good morning, all my colleagues here from different parts of India. Let us welcome Professor Akhlin Bhushan Gupta ji. He is a very senior professor in civil engineering, very accomplished researcher and educationist. It's privilege to read a brief bio for him while we are welcoming him for his keynote today. He works in the area of biological waste treatment, environmental health, environmental modeling. He holds a BE from MNIT, Arsetwile Amirasi, MTech and PhD from IIT Bombay, and he has about more than 40 years of experience at MNIT. He has various administrative assignments also, including head of the department, dean of research, dean of faculty affair, and director also. He has published more than 450 papers, out of which more than 100 are in reputed journals. He has guided more than 20 PhDs, several master theses and UG theses, and he holds uh, a credential that he has guided and he has executed several prestigious research and consultancy projects funded by international and national agencies to his credit. He has been official member of RPCB, Environment and Health Board of Rajasthan, and several important committees of like DST and other BIS, IRC from Government of India. Because of his request, I am just displaying his brief here. You can search on the Google Scholar also. We welcome Professor Ravi Gupta sir for his talk now. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us and for your support.
Thank you, Vinit, for the nice introduction. I would like to first send a warm welcome to all the participants. Always keep your expectations low, because if you don't expect anything, whatever you receive, you are happy about it. Because as far as the course title is concerned, it is all on AI, and people of my age normally do not work on AI. And I also don't claim to be. So whatever extensions of AI I'm giving are all due to my previous data being reanalyzed using AI platforms. So I'm a user. I'm not an expert on AI tools as such. But let me see if I could do clear justice with the title. There is a paradigm shift in the research from classical sciences to AI. But what are the challenges, especially when we talk about life sciences? Though I'm a civil engineer, I do not know ABC of civil engineering because I work in mostly environment and health areas where we work with doctors. The hypothesis comes from our mathematical application to human systems, and then it is converted to okay. Publishing the slides. Enter. Okay, thank you. We have to understand that we have to ensure environmental sustainability, which is nothing but maintaining integrated health of environment, society, and economy for today and also into the future. That is the most accepted definition of sustainability. But as one of my faculty members, rather one of the faculty members of IIT Bombay who taught me at IIT Bombay 40 years back, he says true specialization in sustainability is not about the topic. It's all about the process because we have to understand the language of the stakeholders and craft the roadmap for present and future. He says sustainability is like a general physician. If you fall ill, you should go to a general physician first. And then that fellow would refer some specialist. Otherwise, directly going to the specialist has a big risk of you being treated as a patient, whether you were a patient of that stream or not. So he says you have to build T-shaped skills, be broad enough to understand many fields, but at the same time deep enough to contribute meaningfully in one. And that is what research is all about in multidisciplinary areas. We have to bring translatable technologies because we all know about TRL levels, technology readiness levels, but nobody talks about ERL and SRL levels. ERL is economic readiness level. If it is not economical, it won't be accepted by the society. And finally, society has to accept, even if it's technologically sound and economically viable. If society doesn't accept, so I normally talk about SRL levels also, and I'll make it clear during this presentation. So research ultimately should bring circularity and change in policy. For the last 41 years of my teaching, we've been able to influence the policy of the Rajasthan government in various sectors, including fluorosis, nitrates, all sorts of water policies, as well as policies on air pollution controls, and to some extent, hospital wastewater control. So that is what research should aim at. I'll just show you certain glimpses rather than going into the depth of any of these technologies that we developed. Earlier, a H2S strip test was conducted where this kit was provided by the UNICEF. So there is a vial in which you put the sample, 20 ml sample. If it turns dark, the sample is contaminated with biological entities. It takes 36 to 48 hours to find the contamination. By then, the disease would have spread and the whole purpose is defeated. About 15 years back, we took this US patent, Qualilert, in which it gives you quantified results in 18 hours. So we developed our own media at 1/100th of the cost of this media, in which what happens is there is a tray which is opened, 100 ml of water to be tested is put into, and a media sachet is poured into this, and it is sealed using this sealer. And after 18 hours, number of yellow wells give you a count. I was not very happy with the cost, so I challenged my student. He developed a media that can give you results in 8 hours. Now you can imagine, not a single paisa extra, H2S strip converted to Colipad. Within 8 hours, we get the results of a very low levels of contamination also. So now we are attaching a sensor to it to reduce the sensing time further, because what naked eye cannot do, probably a smart sensor with maybe a smartphone would be able to do. So now we are developing many new things, like developing such indicators for pathogens in swimming pools, then new occurring pathogens, many dangerous pathogens we have isolated from sewage treatment plants, which are going into the water. And we have identified these specific bacteria for having very high levels of antibiotic resistance. Now, here it's a multidisciplinary area where we need electronics engineers, we need people from environmental sciences, we need people from microbiology, we need people from computer sciences to do the computation to bring down the sensing time. So appropriate policy backups are needed for introducing these new methods. I've been a chairman of a committee of DST, Government of India, in which there were two proposals received, one from NIT Warangal and one from IIIT Hyderabad, for online monitoring of the sewage treatment plants. They were talking about activated sludge process, which is an age-old process. I said, no, I'll give you a combined project. You develop something for SBR, because thousands of SBRs are put in India. And then I gave them a set of new microbiological processes to be tracked online. Because SBR, given by the European company, its control system costs around 50 lakh rupees. So I said, you have to develop it within 5 lakh. And they did it with cost of only 3 lakh rupees. And it has already been put on a full scale sewage treatment plant. So unless we have a policy backups, we cannot really do much. We've been first internationally to have treated fluorosis patients with oral medicines. Fluorosis is rampant in Rajasthan, and groundwater has among the highest levels in the world of fluorides. Fluorides affects your teeth and bone. But when I met this little girl, 9-year-old Veena, way back in 1990, for the first time internationally, a child with the hunchback was reported. Otherwise, this used to be a manifestation after 35, 40 years of ingestion of high fluorides. And that intensified my research. And we worked on many aspects of fluorosis, including paralysis. This is a person from Nivai district. This is from Raipuria village, Saganir. And we carried out projects for more than 5, 6 years in collaboration of SMS Medical College and ERI. And you can, this is just not from our primary work. This lady on your left is the daughter of the lady on your right, because this lady came to that village after her marriage. But this poor little girl was born and brought up in that village. It's 1 in 10 lakh people who acquire this fast aging due to high fluorides. We have our primary couplets also, where Jethani, 10 years elder than Devrani, looks other way. But this is a very prominent one. So we started working on the treatment, and fluoride affects calcium. It attaches with calcium. So when you ingest fluoride from water, it goes to blood. It attaches with calcium, creates calcium deficiency. So blood has to maintain its calcium level. So obviously, where from will it get? The repository, that is teeth and bones. So we found, this is around 30, 35 years back, that we started carrying out these works, that how calcium has to be supplemented back and resorbed. So we started working, and we could have a reasonably good reversal of fluorosis stains on the teeth, as well as resorbing calcium back to the skeleton. And that helped thousands and thousands of children tremendously. Earlier, we used to, whenever we used to go to any village, some 5, 6 children with deformed bones were commonly found. I was delivering a lecture about 18 years back, and in the audience was the principal secretary, Mr. Bharat Meena of PHED. He stood up and said, Professor Gupta, I promise you to bring Rajasthan integrated fluorosis mitigation program, and we'll take all the medical and engineering measures that you are suggesting. And now, last 10 years, you go to any village, you will not find a single child with deformed bones. I'm giving you a background so that you understand that how AI helped me. So we carried out a detailed pathophysiology, means what happens to the ingested fluoride going to the blood, what kind of parameters does it affect, and what is the outcome of these ingestions in terms of, again, blood parameters. So I gave this proposed pathophysiology to my BTech students some 15 years back. Means after 20 years of that research, I gave these data to my BTech students who applied some AI platforms. I don't understand what platforms did they use, but what they found was very interesting. That when you ingest high fluorides, fluoride level in serum start increasing. But surprisingly, even before that, serum glucosaminoglycans levels start increasing. Now, you understand, now, if GAG is tracked, we can have an early diagnosis of fluorosis, which is vital for its reversal. In the books, it's still written that fluorosis is irreversible. And we told that how early diagnosis can help reverse it. So we have a tool for early diagnosis, GAG, and we have a tool for differential diagnosis, means arthritic patients also look similar. Arthritic patient will have GAG affected, but not water fluoride, serum fluoride. And that is very, very important. Serum fluoride is having, let us say, 58.4%, whereas GAG 78%. So that improved the sensitivity of early diagnosis and differential diagnosis with arthritis. So AI helped me a lot. So prior to that, I used to say that it's better to be naturally stupid rather than being artificially intelligent. But I've stopped saying it. And whenever the student takes an initiative, I'm ready to pass on the problem formulation and they apply the AI in their own manner. It's very important for a multidisciplinary area researcher to be highly observant. It's all my research over last 4 decades has been due to observing certain things in the field, coming out with a hypothesis, working with doctors to validate the hypothesis, and then anything further, reading between the lines to my students who are using mathematical or AI platforms. You have to be highly observant. I'll just share an example. When we were in pre-final, a professor from IIT Madras came, and in the first 2, 3 minutes, he said 4 times, engineers should have good observation. So I asked him, sir, why are you repeating it? Do you have any important message to send? He says, yes, I was delivering the similar lecture at IIM Ahmedabad, and one of the students asked me. So I said, give me 5 minutes. He went out, came back with a yellow liquid in a small beaker. And he says, there's a urine sample, and I would like you to tell me the taste of it. So everyone frowned at this old man. So he says, okay, if I do that, will you follow? He says, yes. They said, yes. He dipped his finger and licked it. So everyone tried and then they were spitting it out, cursing the old man. He says, don't worry, it's an edible color. I was I was trying to understand your observation skills. I dipped my middle finger and licked the other one. And this is what we were doing while working in about 300 villages on fluorosis. There are two villages, Shivdaspura and Raipuria, only 2.5 kilometers apart and 35 kilometers from my institution. So while in the Shivdaspura, there were only mild symptoms on teeth, mild to severe. But Raipuria had all kinds of body deformities. Both had similar fluoride levels. So I was perplexed. This was way back in 1995 as to why this is happening. And I was reading a book on aluminum toxicity, and I found that it affects the same enzyme as the fluoride does, which results into osteotoxicity. So I thought that aluminum might be playing a role because fluoride and aluminum have a very strong affinity, and all defluoridation technologies are based on aluminum compounds. So we started working in that direction. But important thing is you have to establish reliability before you publish. We sent some samples for aluminum analysis. We analyzed them in our institute. Low, their levels were very low. But when we sent it for a destructive method to be used to Niri Nagpur, we could find that aluminum was present in plenty in Raipuria, and then a series of our works started. Aluminum is a neurotoxin. So my students worked in 48 villages on simultaneous fluoride and aluminum synergistics, means 1 plus 1, 11 in the negative direction. And we proved for the first time internationally as to how aluminum aggravates the bone symptoms. At the same time, it explained as to why in some high fluoride villages, the neurotoxicity was prevalent. So it helped thousands of people in the villages. Then we concentrated on developing the right technology. This was a very commonly used technology. Niri was and Niri is exporting this technology for last 5 decades, where you put in the raw water based on the fluoride and alkalinity of it, some alum and lime. Stir it for 10 minutes, allow it to settle, and after half an hour, you can take out the upper water as treated. Looks very simple. Then we started applying our mathematics. How aluminum and fluoride react with each other to give rise to colloidal forms, precipitable forms, and dissolved forms. Now, dissolved forms cannot be removed through plane settling. That is obvious. Precipitates are removed. But the major crucial point was aluminum in the colloidal form. And this gave rise to a lot of new methods being generated by us for aluminum and fluoride analysis in the presence of both together. And I guided a couple of PhD theses. And then we started analyzing the field plants. As I was telling you, Rajasthan government accepted our suggestion, and 40,000 plus villages in Rajasthan have defluoridation plants. And that's a gigantic of effort. So they are attached to the hand pumps. Activated alumina is filled up into it. We approved activated alumina technology. We closed down all Nalgonda process plants. Rajasthan, even till date, is the only state where Nalgonda process is banned. And we developed some more new materials to work on defluoridation. And now things have changed in those villages. Children have smiles on their faces, and that's my gain of life. For activated alumina, also we did a field analysis. We used to use simulators to simultaneously solve 17 equations. Now we have got enough AI tools which are able to give us the results. And we developed, one of our faculty members, Dr. Ragini, developed a smartphone-based methodology for quick determination of fluoride ions, and we extended it further with the help of National Center for Basic Sciences, Dr. S.K. Pal of Kolkata, a very, very highly sensitive determination of fluoride into ppb levels. So all these fieldworks helped in developing these sensors. Nitrate is another problem in Rajasthan. As against a standard of 45 ppm, I have tested samples up to 2500 ppm, which people were drinking, and right up to 5100 ppm reported from Churu area of Rajasthan. When you ingest high nitrates, it goes into the blood. If for some reason nitrate reduces to nitrite in the stomach, there are many reasons for it. I will not describe them right away. Nitrate is not toxic. If it converts to nitrite, nitrite joins with hemoglobin to make methemoglobin. Now, the basic function of hemoglobin is to carry oxygen to the whole body. Methemoglobin can carry 50 times lesser oxygen. So, if the oxygen is not enough, first symptom is turning of the skin blue. So, it is called a blue baby's disease. It was found in infants up to 7 months of age. But when we started off with our works in 1995 to 1999, we completed in Viratnagar area, Paladi and six adjoining villages. We found many new things about nitrate pathophysiology, how it was a problem for all ages, why only up to 7 months the infants are more affected, why 45 plus people are also affected, what is the defense mechanism. But what changed the life of the people was we proved for the first time that 425 ppm plus nitrate can initiate diarrhea. Now imagine during diarrhea, what do you give? ORS made up of water put with salts. So this village, Paladi, in which more than 40% of the married ladies had lost one or more children within the first year of its birth. There was a joint family of 50-55 persons, losing on an average one child per year. Not a single married lady in the house which had not lost one or more children in the first year. They were rich by the standards of village. They had their own well, nearly, I mean, it was nearby their farm. In the farm, they were using excess fertilizers because fertilizer subsidy is only known to the bigger farmers. Their well had 1100 ppm of nitrates. And when we started with this, our backward calculation of mathematics, how 425 plus can result into diarrhea, we simply prescribed them that keep the child on mother's milk up to 1 year. If giving any extra milk, let it be a pure milk. And in case the child suffers from diarrhea for any reason, buy a bottle of water to make ORS. Infant mortality dropped to less than a third in that village, and that family has not lost a single child since 1995. Now, all these mathematics, now I have given these curves to the students to apply maybe some AI tools. Then there is an ongoing Indo-US study for diabetic patients, how prone they are to hypertension. So we were given samples of 600 patients, data of 100 parameters related to diet and blood parameters. And what we gave these data to one of the faculty members of computer science, and interesting things came out. The cutoff values of HbA1c should be 7 and not 5.5 as we have picked up from Europe. Fasting blood sugar of 140 may still be considered as normal. These two things got published by some British team after about 8 months of our analysis, but since it was COVID time, all the doctors were not able to sit together, and I could not make this presentation that time. But a third thing is very important again, which is still not published from anywhere, that unless HbA1c crosses 10, the patient is not prone for angina. These are, you see, interesting things. Your AI has given us these things. They have to be validated under Indian conditions. So we have to ultimately develop standards based on Indian health studies. And any standard is primarily to protect the human health. And that standard has to be supported by a proper uh, health parameters of the local people. So, like about 35 years back, when the first spirometry came to India for lung functions, a very famous doctor with whom I have several papers of respiratory medicine, he rang up and said, Akhilenji, more than 80% of the people are found lung compromised, lung functions are compromised. I said, Doctor, Sahab, this is not possible. How did you get it calibrated? He says, recalibrated machine was received from Europe. I said, their lung functions are very different from those of ours. Ours. So 7,000 people were analyzed, calibrations were made, and the machines are working perfectly. Same thing happened with the bone density test. So we have to develop it ourselves. And these are all multidisciplinary areas. You have to have people from electronics to develop our own sensors at a low cost, people from computer science to analyze the data and calibrate such equipment, give a good database, people from health sciences, people from environmental sciences. So no one alone can do something. Now, we are working on a very so-called low-level rural technology of constructed wetlands for treating sewage. So it was always considered as a rural technology. About 20 years back, I started working on constructed wetlands. What I found was our understanding of it is very, very poor because we say that it has a very high space footprint, so can be used only in rural areas. We started working on 3 times the depth based on our mathematical interpretations. So one third space area. And when we started analyzing them, they were amazing. Rather than only removing organics from sewage, they were able to better remove the nutrients. They were able to better remove the antibiotic resistances. And now, over the last 20 years, whatever we have published, they're supposed to be the leading papers in the world with a very highly reduced footprint, space footprint. We are getting far better results than so-called advanced technologies. And now these are being used in very cold areas of India as well as some parts of US. Our co-worker, he came as a visiting Fulbright professor. He was an old friend and he introduced it in North Dakota as well. Now, just to explain it to you, there is a road near this, at the end of this septic tank. It's a steep slope. From there, sewage comes under gravity to this septic tank, then to this constructed wetland STP. This is a sewage treatment plant, so beautifully merging with the outer environment of Dharamshala. So we started working on these deep wetlands. They simultaneously perform organics removal, nitrification, denitrification, nanomox, phosphate assimilation, phosphate solubilization, and sulfur-based denitrification. Many new types of microbes automatically get developed because of this depth being given to them. And on top, there are plants, the bottom, there are stones which develop bacteria. And we have worked on at least 30 full-scale plants in Himachal Pradesh and Andhra Pradesh. So we'll not go into the further details, but you can see some of the deep wetlands, a residential location in Jaipur, multi-story building, a hospital wastewater building, all came from this mathematics. I found that most of the wetlands were operating at the lower zone of a curve and I wanted to take them up to the top of this linear zone. So initially mathematics. So we worked on the mathematics of it and found statistically that it can be done. But when we started analyzing the AI tools, we could further reduce the space footprint beautifully. I'll just here itself, I think I can tell you. When my student was insistent that he should put all the data of 225 wetlands into a AI model, I said, all right, go ahead. So he came out with an output that at 1.5 meters, 1.8 meters, and 2.1 meters, there's a change in the behavior of wetland. I said you might find heterotrophs at the first layer, nitrifiers at the second layer, denitrifiers, and sulfur-based bacteria at the third layer. So we took out stones, extracted the DNA, sent them for NGS sequencing, and we found exactly the same bacteria. So what I want to tell you is apply AI tools, but don't blindly just say something. You have to interpret it on yourself, depending upon the kind of conditions you are facing. And hence, adaptation is your role. So we exploited many simultaneous reactions and we analyzed the data through statistics, brought down the areal and volumetric coefficient. But the moment ML and AI approaches were taken up, we were able to reduce the surface area still further without sacrificing carbon and nitrogen removal. And we carried out all the mass balances in deep wetlands and brought out the possibility of many new kinds of bacteria which develop due to such conditions being provided. But once we found the sulfur-based contributions, these were amazing. Normally, these bacteria are considered as non-entity in the natural processes because they grow very slow. But we proved that why did they get benefit in a deep constructed wetland? Carried out all that thermodynamics and then found out all kinds of mass balances. And then we started analyzing the data of a continuous wetland monitored for 2 years at NIH Roorkee, who were our partners in a research project. And AI tools are bringing very interesting things about not just sulfur nitrogen roles, but also about troubleshooting in these systems. Now, these wetlands are helping us reduce the antibiotic resistance also. Way back, almost 40 years back in Mumbai, the sewage used to be discharged 2 kilometers inside the sea without any treatment. They found that Mumbai people started developing gynecomastia, male breasts, hundreds of them. So they identified that that sewage, which was disposed far away, ultimately is coming into the food chain and creating problems because many kinds of hormones are present in the sewage. So they started treating it. What happens is sewage is used for irrigation world over, whether it is country like India or maybe in US. And antibiotic concentrations in these sewage waters after treatment are still substantial. Because what happens is when you ingest any antibiotic, hardly 15% of it is consumed, rest all is excreted out. So which meets either the groundwater after several irrigation and soil contamination levels, or if it goes to a river water, then directly goes into the drinking. So it goes into the food chain. So it's a big question, are we really being drugged? Are we getting enough drugs through the drinking water itself? So there are various ways of transforming antibiotics in the treatment system, but none of these is affordable even to the most advanced countries. They are all laboratory-based studies. But we developed a hybrid disinfection-based technology. We've been working for last 17 years on this. And this hybrid involves two disinfectants. It came out from my exposures to various patients of TB and leprosy. Earlier, rifampicin was used, which was a wonder drug. Slowly, rifampicin resistance came out. So now we give multi-drug therapy. I thought of giving multi-disinfectant therapy to the pathogens, and it worked. It worked in reducing the overall cost of disinfection. It reduces in killing antibiotic resistant bacteria. It resulted in sharp decrease in antibiotic resistant genes. That means the regrowth was also suppressed, and many such benefits were accrued, for which we have a series of papers. So hybrid disinfection we introduced. We questioned the very premise that coliform absence is a sufficient thing for ensuring safety. Now, across the world, people are talking about our effective reduction rather than coliform elimination, because even after coliforms have come down to zero, we have isolated organisms like Morganella, Klebsiella, or Stenotrophomonas that can resist that single disinfectant, and they come back strongly, and they are resistant to most of the antibiotics, including colistin, which is the last resort antibiotic given. When we published these things 8, 9 years back, doctors didn't agree. Then they started counting the number of deaths due to those bacteria. So, what is the role of environmental engineers? Prevention with the right kind of disinfection strategies. Here also, we did a lot of mathematical applications, though AI has not been till date applied by us. So, this is another project which is going on. I'm working with cardiologists. When you perform a angioplasty, a mass from the arteries is removed called atheroma. So we analyzed it for various nanoplastics and microplastics. Since 2024, a lot of work has started on nanoplastics and microplastics. First reports came in 2024. So one of the doctors sent me this paper saying that can we go ahead with it? I said I have a big question. Microplastic cannot translocate to artery, but nano can. He says this is a British medical journal paper. I said, so what? We started analyzing the, we have analyzed till date 10 patients atheroma. It's a small mass, so we have to be very careful. I said I will not report it unless I'm able to get the same peak of micro or nanoplastic by two different methods. And then I found a very interesting paper published in 2025. This said during the angioplasty, the syringes introduce some microplastics. There's nothing to worry about it because it's all removed. But that mass has microplastic coming from syringes. Nanoplastic was coming through ingestion or inhalation. So we started analyzing the particle sizes. You see, one peak close to 10 nano, other peak close to 100 nano. And that we are now trying to separate out and do something. And then we will attach it in an AI mode with all other parameters given by them, as we did for diabetic patients. Water distribution systems are all on SCADA. But how much is being used? How much of the data is being used? That's a big question. So I challenge some of the PhD engineers or ex-students. You analyze it. You have all the events reported in your logbooks if there were some leakages. Identify the data. I mean, we analyze the data 2, 3, 4 hours prior to that event and see at what point could you possibly troubleshoot. Same way, we are using this troubleshooting in sewage treatment plants, and not for one or two parameters, but several parameters simultaneously. So it not only optimizes the whole operation, it gives you multiple queries. You can put multiple queries and get multiple controls. Say, for example, in India, there are standards on BOD and COD. In US, the standards may be different. In India, right now, we don't have any standards for nitrogen. US, they have standards for nitrogen. For phosphorus, similar way. So this single control system, sensor feeds it to the computational mode, and it auto controls the whole process. And I told you 3 lakh rupees were used. They, those two teams I talked about earlier developed it for 3 lakh instead of 50 lakh, which is charged by the European company. So this is what Indians are capable of. We are no less than anyone in the West. And I remember in 1999 when I delivered a lecture at Loughborough University, UK, the head Andrew Wheatley said, "You are at least 10 years ahead of us." And after 24 years, in 2023, I was invited for one full week to stay in Loughborough University and deliver a series of lectures. At Iowa State and Pennsylvania State Universities in 2007, I delivered a lecture. Indians have to understand that we have to be proud of our country, our analytical skills. Nowhere else in the world you'll find this kind of analytical skills except for China. Chinese are doing amazing things. There's no doubt about it. So we are working on troubleshooting. We are working on online process controls. We need computer engineers. We need electronics engineers for sensor. Now another area that you all can work on, air quality data. Earlier, there was a big question on reliability. And I used to give Swami Ramtirth analogy, who was 18th century saint, very witty apart from being a great knowledgeable saint. Somebody asked him, why are newspapers reliable? He says they lie again. That means they relie. That's why they are reliable. And now we have the advantage of thousands of online sensors being used for assessing air quality. We have introduced a lot of modifications in those sensors based on our data. These data are available on a daily basis through the state pollution control boards. So you can have a direct access and analyze them. Once you start analyzing it, like I asked my student to place the full year's data in a graphical form. And I told him when was the Holi festival, when was the Diwali festival, when was this thing, when was this thing, from the graph itself. Because those kinds of uh, deviations will come only under certain conditions. So to develop it, the standards indicate that you have to assess twice a week, so 104 readings a year. Take an average, and 98 percentile of it is retained for taking the average of annually. I said, why? In Jaipur, you might need 5% data to be removed because dust storms bring a lot of dust. So you can do it yourself and accordingly keep suggesting the modification in standards. Same way, as I said, standards are meant for preserving the health. Way back in 1995, I guided one master's thesis in which we took the respiratory problem data of Mumbai of Dr. S.R. Kamath. He had almost 50 years of data with him. Wonderful person. Nowhere in the world this kind of data collection was there. And then we back calculated based on assuming certain morbidity levels to various problems related to air pollutants. And we suggested that air quality standards for sulfur should be revised downwards. For nitrogen oxides, may be revised marginally upwards based on the indigenous data. And good thing is The standards were revised downwards accordingly, and now we have a lot of benefits. So this is what your mathematics brings. Rajasthan government is providing RO water to 3,500 villages for last 10 years because there was a change in policy that every individual has to be given 8 liters of water per day that caters drinking and cooking needs at 20 paisa per liter. We have been sustaining it for last 10 years. Nowhere in the world such village operations are taking place. When we started off with the works, the membrane lives were very, very low. Seawater membranes work for 5, 6 years, whereas these brackish water membranes were failing in few months. So we did the SCM analysis. Now these data again are assessed through your tools based on computations. All image analysis is based on AI tools. So I found, sorry, I found that apart from calcium carbonate, which was the major responsible thing, second I speak was that of scandium. Scandium cannot be there in water, impossible. So this is a cut membrane analyzed under SEM. Then I sent it for Raman. I got another single peak indicating molybdenum, which is again impossible. Then we thought that two instruments with wonderful softwares being installed for analyzing the images are telling a lie. How did we prove? Through another instrument costing another 2 crore that both the things were not there. So it led to the new developments in the chemistry of scalants, and we were able to analyze the peaks. Now, what does it mean? Your software should also be right updated based on the feedback received from the researchers. So again, it's a multidisciplinary aspect wherein the environmental researcher or a medical researcher has to sit with software engineer to improve upon the output of analysis using software. Now I'm getting these data also put into, so this was done by a UG student of chemical engineering, third year. He came to me and said, sir, I want to publish, I want to do some work, publish and go to US for my master's. I said, what are your strengths? He says, mass transfer based modeling. I said, oh, good. You'll substitute two of the doctors with whom I have tens of papers, but I cannot make them sit together because lung functions will be measured in one doctor's lab and methemoglobin levels will be monitored in the other. So we developed a mass transfer based model that you are inhaling in a kitchen. I'm telling you an average kitchen which has high NOx. NOx and hemoglobin will make methemoglobin. CO and hemoglobin will make carboxyhemoglobin, both of which will result into reduction in blood saturation, SpO2 now you understand because of COVID. And we calculated the SpO2 and validated through an experimental setup. And this is proven. Now I want to have some sensors made which can give you early stage detection. On 12th of March 2020, I wrote a 8-page note. COVID had not entered India till date. And then I said, why Europeans are dying, why deaths are taking place in America, how are they misdiagnosing the cases, what should be done based on this model. And this was proven true later on after my writing this and sending it to the major doctors across the country. They ignored it. We we indicated that a new wave is coming before the second wave, 2 weeks before. Third wave we predicted 3 weeks back. because we were analyzing coronavirus in sewage, and that was giving much early indications. And these protocols which we developed are still considered as the best in the world. And we are doing it for ICMR contribution funding projects, multi-institutional projects. So the thing is, these are tools, mathematical tools. Ultimate thing is the work in laboratory or field. But for interpreting those results, there are no better tools than maybe AI, because life is non-linear. I was given a lifetime achievement award by a biotechnological society. I said, well, I don't deserve it. I'm a civil engineer. Anyways, this was awarded to me, and I was told that you just speak one sentence at the time of receiving this award. Thereafter, you have 1 hour of keynote anyway. So in front of me was a father of green chemistry in India, ex-director of CCMB, and a radiation physics international personality. So physics, chemistry, mathematics. I said, life, I work in the life forms. So life is a mystery which does not follow any laws of physics, maths, or chemistry. So all the three put together said, well, this is interesting. So I always say that when Ashutosh was delivering a lecture on 5 M's of science and technology, Ashutosh was uh, Secretary DST, Government of India, for 2 terms, professor at IIT Kanpur. Amazing person. Was a year senior to me in the same school. So he was talking about these 5 M's. I said, add the sixth one, which is metaphysics. Our brain does not go linear. Nature never goes linear. But if you mimic nature, you have the best of the technologies available, because now this is an appeal to the youngsters. Only you can change the world, as Steve Jobs said. The people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do. How to change it? Be the change in your, be the change that you wish to see in the nature, in the world. So this is how Mahatma Gandhi said, and it's the final statement. Whether you are working with laboratory process or any technology or any software, follow the natural instincts. Leonardo da Vinci in 16th century wrote that human ingenuity may make various inventions, but it will never devise any inventions more beautiful, nor more simple, nor more to the purpose than what nature does. Because in her inventions, nothing is wanting and nothing is superfluous. And this is what I am trying to follow for so many years of my teaching. Follow the nature, you have the answer. So thank you so much for your patient listening. Extremely thankful for your patience. So do we take questions after this or not? But
Yes, sir.
sorry,
We'll take questions. Thank you.
sorry, but it's 3 minutes or above 10 already.
No
So
problem. We request participant to raise their hands so that we can mute you.
No questions, probably.
We need just a request in case you have a recording of this lecture. This is the
Sir.
first time I've delivered a lecture on AI tools.
Sir, please. Yeah, we have a recording, and if participants raise some questions,
You
we'll.
can receive my recording of 2007 Distinguished Category Lecture at Iowa State, because that student visited India.
No, we have recording. We'll just share with you after that
Yeah.
sanitization of video.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Curation के बाद. There is one question I think in the chat. Sir. Amit
Otherwise,
Saraswat.
feel that nobody is interested. Seva reverse. How would I start? I would like you to attach to one of my students who's an associate professor at IIT BHU has taken up a river project, and most of the dimensions I have given to him. You'll have to come in person, I don't know, or make a one-to-one meet, because it's a big topic. A lot of things have to be seen: what to monitor, where to monitor, how to monitor. We have worked on NGT-driven Chambal restoration, wherein we identified the real sources, and hardly 5% of the tributaries were contributing. So we took the own measures. Here also, the importance is of continuous data being analyzed, read between the lines, in order to devise new systems. We have restored Talkatora Lake and Jal Mahal Lake of Jaipur, bringing from a very bad state within 2 years to a wonderfully visitable system. And we have worked on Kota Chambal River. So now this will be in a much larger scale used by IIT BHU. And God is sometimes I forget, but his surname is God. He was our student in 2003. He has an Indo-Danish project, and it's a triple IT Kota, Danish University, IIT BHU, MNIT were involved. So you're always welcome to write to me through email. I can send you some of the case studies as well. How to start, right? We are putting a lot of continuous sensors into a 100-kilometer stretch of Varna River, Varanasi.
Sunil.
Shishir.
Ravi, we can unmute Ramesh Saraswat. I think he's raising hand if you want to talk to. Amit, you can unmute yourself, and then if you have some interaction required, you can go ahead. Mr. Amit Saraswat, you can unmute yourself now if you want to discuss further. Right, sir. If we get any other queries, we'll contact you on email, sir. Definitely.
Yeah, you can share my email with them, and the PPT also.
PPTs also. We'll share that. Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you. Ravi, do we take some gap? 10-15 पे शुरू करें?
ठीक है सर.
Thank you.
Shall we start, sir?
Ravi, just 2 minutes.
Okay, sir.
Yes, Ravi. Can I start now? I will share my slides now.
Allow me to introduce you, sir.
No, I think I will just tell something about me. Let me start. I am not late, no? Thank you. Thank you, Ravi. Yeah, good morning, my colleagues. Dr. Ravi Madilla is coordinator for this program. He has done a lot of hard work to keep this, you can say, the schedule and the interaction with the speakers. And now their team is bringing all the speakers to you. I am here with you for next 1.25 hour. I am Vineet Sahula, here in the Department of Electronics for last about 36 years. And of course, if you are a teacher and researcher, you end up publishing few things as normal. So 120 papers, about 15 theses of PhD, and so on and so forth is there. So I'm here to just share my experiences about writing bibliographies. Managing citations we'll discuss tomorrow. We'll discuss it tomorrow. Right. So today we'll discuss the managing bibliographies, and we'll discuss this one as a tomorrow. right? So let us go ahead, and I will start with maybe reviewing few things which you have been listening to many other speakers about how to jot down your references that way, right? Let me close my video. I'm not sure where. Yeah, from here. Fine. So let us see what is a bibliography, and rather you all know what is bibliography. So we'll go ahead with that. So the first part will discuss uh, how to generate the multiple bibliographies in a single document, right? How to generate multiple bibliography in a single document. The way bibliography is compiled in the last or maybe end of the document, it is always better to prepare a database for that. Because once you are submitting a document to one publisher and formatting your document as per his requirement, you have a template for that. And in addition, you write down all references by typing yourself with bib item or the way you have learned for LaTeX. The only convenience which might come later is my throat is not well today, so I'll just bear with me. Thank you. So if you attempt to submit it to some other publisher, which is different uh, in a kind of etho, then they will give you another template. So it will be template 2 for you, right? So when you go for template 2, you have already the format for formatting all your content. But the only problem is if their citation or bibliography items which appear there, they have to be slightly changed. There is nothing you can do by just by changing your template for or the template 1 to template 2. Because what you have written in a bib item or references by typing your hands is the authors and the kind of title you're writing, the volume, the dates, they may be appearing slightly changed order. So what usually happens is a author comes first, title goes later, but the other things might change slightly. Sometimes year comes earlier in one format, pages come next, and the volume comes here, and the journal name comes here. So this remaining same, this might change sometimes. The year might be at the before the journal or maybe after author's name and so on and so forth. So while you're using template 2 for publisher 2, you are required to rewrite your all bib items, right? Hence, it is always better to use the database. That's what I mean, right? So if we go ahead, so the bibliography when we create, it is based on right. So bibliography, what we need now is let us prepare a database first. So we'll prepare a database, right? So when we prepare a database, we will be creating a database with tokens. Suppose there is an author. So I will not say, I will not write that way. I will have some tokens. So author will be a token and I will fill names here. Title, I will fill the title here. Right? And this kind of one entry, we can call it the general article. So an article may have all these entries, but I'm tokenizing them. I'm tokenizing them. I'm saying author, title, and so on and so forth. So if I have another article paper, I will have that article paper and again write the author, title, and so on and so forth, the second entry also. I will recognize them with a key 1 and key 2 here. Key 1 and key 2 are just mnemonic for us. They are not processed as per for printing. They're just for accessing which paper you want, right? That's the creation of a database. Then if I am writing a document, I have to actually call that document the document body. So in document body, I will just cite that. Any paper I will cite, which paper I am referring to. And I will call that paper by key 1, key 2 or so, right? And then there will be a listing at the end of a document, right? The third one. So first one is you prepare a database. Second is how do we cite it in the document. The third one is listing at the end of the document. All three are important. Database is created only once. So all sincere researchers and all those who are working in this any area, they can create one database or multiple databases, doesn't matter, but they should create. The database is created only once, right? It is created only once. And using this, we can go ahead in any document body, we can cite them and create the list at the end of the document. So critical one is how to prepare a database. And you would have listened to many speakers somewhere. So I will go a little faster and look at how to make the list at the end of the document, not just one list. If we want multiple list, right? So that we can segregate the your references in different groups for ease of reading that way. Right. So the way we declare in a document, LaTeX document, this is the way to include the database in any document. What I am showing by the green background is it's a part of the LaTeX document appearing somewhere in the body. So if I have a LaTeX document here by the name tech, file1.tech, then I will be having a document class declaration here, somewhere begin document and end document. In between begin and end document, what we write is your LaTeX content along with some LaTeX macros. What we write here before begin document is called preamble. Preamble is a global declaration for that document. It's always useful. So let us use that. What I'm writing in green, usually I will indicate. So this goes into the body of the document, right? So this is the body of the document I'm referring to. So we'll call the database. Database file name is database one dot bib. It's called BibTeX database, right? So when you create a database, you will be storing it with the extension .bib, and BibTeX is by default included in your LaTeX documents. You don't have to do anything else extra. Only thing is, when you create a database, this is the way to call the database without extension, right? So bibliography and write your name of database, so database one or file, whatever file, something. No? So I'm calling it here somewhere in the document, maybe at the end of the document, where I want to create the reference list, right? Remember this. Your slides are slightly slow to browse. So this is the summary, what we just now discussed quickly that way. In the running text in the body, we cite so that some reference appears for that third paper, whatever. If we want the paper in the list in bibliography, but do not appear in the body, then we say no cite. So the way I cite is, I will write cite and that key one for any paper. So this will appear in this way in the document, process document. If I want this not to be there, then I will say no cite. So no cite creates no reference in the document body after processing. It remains blank, but the paper appear in the list in the end of the document, right? So that listing is called bibliography. This is called marker. Right? And the order is important. So the way the references are listed, the order in the listing, the order of listing is also formatable. So three things are here. When we cite, a marker is created in the document body. Then we can create a list at the end of a document where order can be programmed, right? So in the list, the order of the document can be programmed. Right. So this is the way we do it. We can actually cite any paper in the document body. This is the generic way of doing it. Suppose my database has this key, LaTeX companion, and key 2 is Einstein, whatever I have given. So these key appear in the database. We'll see the database a little later. So this is the processed document. And for LaTeX companion, the marker appears here. Number 1. For Einstein, the marker is here. The number 2. Right? And both of them appear in the list at the end of a document. The reference list has been created with some format for ordering and format for how do we want the names of the authors, shortened names of the authors, shortened name of the journals, or the full names, right? So remember that. We can put the full names of authors and journals, or we can put abbreviated names of authors and journals. That is formatable while creating a list, right? This is a slightly augmentation. The augmentation is when I'm citing, the key is here. This is key. And I'm generic way. I'm including a kind of a post note. So when I see in the marker, I'm getting this, right? So marker 1 is there. So instead of marker appearing at 1, I'm getting marker 1 and a post note. The post note I have added is chapter 3. So this is appearing here, chapter 3. This is very good. If you want to refine that from a book at number 1, I'm referring to chapter 3. Or from the journal or the book from Einstein, I'm referring to page number 891. So you can do that by writing a post note in your citing, right? So you can write a post note in a square bracket, and that will appear after the marker. So marker will not be simple now, it will be augmented. Right? Okay. So if we are looking for how the list can be ordered, the list can be ordered at the last, no? So this is the way. This is the way. So just remember these words. So when we are creating the list, there is a command for that, right? That is just by the first green box we have seen, no? We've seen bibliography, right? Database one. We can put here a square bracket for an option where I can put ABBRV, right? An option there. What does it mean is, I can write this way, bibliography, ABBRV, and then call the database, whatever name file or file name is there, without the extension. That's all. This means that the all references will be picked up here, which are mentioned in the document, and marker will be created. And list will be made with ABBRV. ABBRV means all authors' name will be abbreviated. The first name will be abbreviated. The surname will appear full. And journal name will also be abbreviated, right? Or you can use that way. But at least abbreviation means the author's name, first name, will all be abbreviated. Right? The other options are there. So many options. We'll look at one by one. Right? So this is ACM journal for computer science. It has a different appearance if you see here. Now the surname comes first, comma, the first name comes later, abbreviated that way. And then many other things are changed if you look at that way. So others are very straightforward. You can try and experiment with them. Alpha means the marker will be alphanumeric. Markers will be alphanumeric, not numbers, right? And they will all be displayed in that way also. List numbering will be done with alpha. So it will be a short of the first author's surname and the 2 digit of the year. So there is no year, so there is no year appearing in that, right? This is APA style, which is the markers have changed, author name, comma, complete year, right? Then many things are such that way. So this is IEEE transaction way. The markers are all, you can say, numbers, and the other names could be either full or abbreviated. That can also be programmed. And this is a perfect IEEE way where journal or book name appears later, the publisher, the place, the publisher is here, and the year, and so on and so forth. We'll browse through this and you can experiment. And these are declared by bibliography style also, right? So I think we do it by when we are writing bibliography database. I think I forgot that. The style you have to declare first. Bibliography style comes first. There you can declare what style you are trying to use. Let's say IEEE TR, this one. This comes here. Yeah, I think I forgot that. So before you call your database, you first declare the style. And what we are browsing through are these styles. Right? Many such things. There are thousands of styles for reference for different kind of publishers. They all come up with their own way of describing that. No? So this is a plain style, which is markers are all numbers, and list ordering is also by number that way. This is Journal of Applied Mathematics, right? SIAM. So they all have, all journals have their own kind of a style. You can look at what styles are available, and you can include that style, bibliography style, in your preamble beforehand, if by default it is not in your system or somewhere, right? So how to generate the database now? So let us prepare the database. Let us prepare the database, BibTeX, which we have just been using. How to prepare the database. This is just a example. Quickly go through. Let us not read details inside. We'll do that a little later. But this is the way one item appears in the database. The file name is by extension bib. So I can say this is my list.bib. That's what I'm just doing it. No. And one of the item which I start will always start with the @ and I will write the type of that type, right? @ and type. It's a conference paper, it's an article, book, a thesis, standard, or simple URL. And then I will just say open bracket and this close bracket here. In between those two brackets, curly brackets, we will write the fields, author, title, journal, year, volume, number, pages, month, whatever we can fill up. We'll write those. In the curly brackets, for each item, I will have a value. So left side, the orange ones are token names. Each token has a value, which we fill up in the inside the curly bracket. For multiple authors' name, I will separate them by end. Definitely by end. No comma, no full stop, no semicolon. It is just end. If you have multiple authors, this is the only format, and put and between every author, every two others, right? A long list that way. This is not a correct way of writing. If you want something to appear as such, not formatted as a sentence case or running case, you include this in another curly brackets, IEEE. We'll come to that. We'll come to that, right? The pages will be considered only numerals. So if you want to write some more text, you have to use the concatenation operator hash, right? So on and so forth. So all these values are enclosed in curly brackets everywhere. This was about the article, journal article, and there's a key here, which is solely between you and your processing. It is not part of the reference. It is just a kind of a temporary name given to this reference. So this article, journal article, I'm putting as a mnemonic. It's called key actually, not name. It's called key actually. And you can always have your own way of writing keys. You can write anything. My first paper one or whatever. I'm using the first author name, year, and the journal short name, so that I can remember by the key which journal I'm referencing. This key will be used when I cite that in the body. So we'll always cite by this key name. It is user given. It has nothing to do with the format, right? Nothing to do with the format. So let's go a little faster. You can go through the different documents, how to prepare the databases. Overleaf has this link. The slides are shared with you already on the canvas, and many other things that way, right? So this is the way we call in the document body, maybe in the last part of a document. So if you have a document body, this is the last part of it. Begin document, end document. So usually these two lines are last. First is style declaration. This is plain. This could be IEEE-TR. It could be abbreviated or whatever, or a plain we are using already, right? Plain we are using already. And then we call the database, whatever name of database is, without extension. That's all. So this is done for generating the list. Generating a list of the references. So first thing we just go through is still remaining is creating the database file. Citation is easy. Just cite by the key. Second part. This is the third part. Generating the list. So we'll now focus only on first one, creating a database, right? And do it little in detail, and but do it little faster also. These are again just description for what is a plain style, unsorted, alpha, abbreviated, and so on and so forth. So you can just do that. This is how to create a database. There is a token or a field name, and you have to write the field text either in curly brackets or double quotes. Curly brackets are more robust. So please use the first style that way. Then if you want something to appear the way it is, you must use the another curly bracket for that field value. So these two curly brackets are mandatory. These two are optional. So if you want to write the complete IEEE as capital, the formatter will reduce it to a small letter. So you have to include it in extra curly brackets. ITP transactions on something, something. That's what the meaning is. Extra curly brackets if you want to print something as such. This is the only way to do it. This is how do you write. These are not tokens. You can just look at these. So how to write entry for book? We always start with an entry with a @ and type is book. Then all fields are there which are required. You must provide all mandatory fields, 3 or 4 fields, and you can also include more optional fields, right? And a key also is given. So in an article, journal article, the required fields are 4: author, title, journal, year. If you don't give these 4, the BibTeX will complain. This entry is incomplete. So these 4 tokens are required: author, title, journal, year. The others are optional. If you give them, it's okay. If you don't give them, it will not complain. Similar thing can happen for conference proceedings. The conference paper is cited by type in proceedings. Type is in proceedings. How do I describe? I start with the @ and write in proceedings. The type is in proceedings for conference paper. Then my key will come, E3, comma. Then my fields will come with their values. And I will close. The required fields are again 4 fields: author or authors, title, book title, and year. Right? Optional field you can give or you can forget. It's up to you. For book, we again have this much. For PhD thesis, again 4 are mandatory, others are optional. Proceeding is the print proceeding, referring to print proceeding, not just one paper. In proceedings means one paper. Simple proceeding means it's a reference to a print proceedings, complete proceeding that way. So only three things are required, right? That way. So this is single author. How you mark it? You can write that as the single running, or if you put a comma, the first letter should be taken as surname. I take this example. This is the other name. If you are using comma, the first part will be taken as a surname always. And after comma, this will be a first name. Right? Or if you write this simple way, you write the complete one without comma. Maria San Martino. Right? So if without comma, it will be taken as a very simple way that these two are first, middle, and last name. So last name will be this one. But if you want to segregate the last name by yourself, so if you don't write comma, this will be taken as the last name. But this is not the case. I want this complete as a last name, so I must use this format and put a comma after the last name, what I want to define that way. I go a little faster now and come to the multiple bibliographies slightly quickly. So those words which you want capitalized or appear as such, please use extra curly brackets for that word. That word will be produced as such, right? So there are 2 options for writing single line where you want capital G as capital G. So you must enclose that in the curly brackets, right? Sometimes you want to use a journal name very frequently, very frequently. and you have to type that journal name every time, like this. So there is an option. The option is you declare this journal name as a short form, and that method is this one. I declare JGR as a short form of this journal by declaring it as a string JGR, right? Then as a second alternate, I can call this journal by its short name. So this is option 1, where I have to repeat, because if you are working in a single field, some 3 or 4 journals will always be frequently referred. So it's better to have this option 2. Declare journal field as a short form and call it with a short form. The declaration comes as a string. This will appear right in the beginning of the file, database file. .bib. The string will appear right in the beginning. So you can write many strings before you start with your describing your articles. For those who are in electrical, electronics, and computer engineering, they can look at the all journal list already prepared by IEEE in these 2 files. These are not journal papers. It is just journal names. And this file contains only string. So you can include them as a prerequisite, and use their journal names. In the first file, the string is created using journal full name. In the second file, the list is created by using short form of the journal name. So you can use any one of them. When you are writing journal papers, you should use full journal name. But you are writing the conference paper where space is limited, we must use abbreviated name of the journals. So both of these are useful respectively for journal and the conference. So this template you can create yourself and keep it in your database. So you can go to the IEEE example.bib, where many such examples for each one of them, article, book, and so on, so they're described for you. And you can keep copying from there this kind of a template, or you create this blank template for yourself and use it for filling those articles by typing and populating those fields that way, right? So this is from IEEE example file only. I have borrowed one of the example which they have described. It's a real reference. It appeared in 2002 IEEE Transaction Electron Devices, right? It's a reference number 16. So paper who has citing this is this paper at page 1996. Its 16th reference is exampled in IEEE example.bib. So you can download IEEE example.bib from IEEE site and see this appears there as an article, something for different other articles where I'm using journal abbreviated names, journals abbreviated names. Look at it here. The journal's abbreviated name. So I must include IEEE full.bib along with my database. So 2 database I have to include. Please remember. Also look at this. If I want to give 2 months, it will not take. This month will take only 1 month. If you want to give complete string, you have to take it as a concatenation operator, right? The fields which the kind of reserved words or reserved characters are comma. These ones, percentage is comment, then concatenation and curly brackets. They're all reserved, and you cannot use them in your values here. You cannot use them. right? Very seldom you use them. So if you want to write September, it's fine. But if you want to write September or October, this is the way to write. So you have to concatenate September concatenated with /. This is a reserved word. So I will put it in the quotes. Then I have to concatenate October. So hash is a concatenation, and you can write many words because month take only one, right? This is about the conference paper. Again, if you see the month, it is giving the dates also. So month will not take dates. So you have to concatenate dates by hash. This is about the book. This is about the book chapter, which is called in book. If you want to write book chapter, it is in book, right? And describe the fields. It will be taken as a book chapter. This is about a manual, lab manual, or some simulation language manual, or so on and so forth. This is a master thesis, PG thesis. This is a PhD thesis template. This is a standard, some standard of your ISO 9001 or some standards in your IEEE, your field, or power systems, or simulation, or SDLs, so on and so forth, right? So I think I have now shift to the multiple bibliographies. Once we have done that, right? I'm not sure whether this red box is appearing at your place. It says bibliography style is IEEE transaction. And I'm calling two of my databases, which is test and the main. So main.bib is appearing here, main.bib, and the test.bib also appear here. I must have included here the IEEE format also, where to borrow the general names. So IEEE full.bib, and I must upload from my desktop here the IEEE.bib file here, and then I can use it. This is a screenshot from Overleaf. I will share with you these files which I am using here as a screenshot, and maybe we can take the demo also on the Apple site very quickly. So let me go ahead little quickly now. This is the body. I'm sorry, I just forgot to tell you. Look at the right side. Look at here. An article is cited, book is cited, series is cited, thesis is cited. So this is document body. What is there in that document body? The document body contains these references. Cite a key article, cite a book, cite a book series, so on and so forth. The document body. And in the last, I have this IEEE style declaration and bibliography inclusion. This is borrowed. I have borrowed from Overleaf file, nothing else. Borrowed from Overleaf file. This is the way it appears. We can go to demo basically now, and this is the bib file which is there. For multiple bibliographies also, I can go to the demo itself. Just let us take one screenshot and the content, and we'll shift to the demo on the Overleaf. Multiple bibliography means when you do this, I'm going back. When you do this bibliography style and bibliography, only one listing appears at the end of a document. I may sometimes want that I should have multiple bibliographies. The first name is references, and the second list is further references, or references for further reading. References for further reading. So two bibliography I want. So there are methods for that. We have to include different packages, and I have to write that part. I have to include in preamble. use package, any one of them, multibib, bibliotex or bibunit, any one of them, right? All small. Then I have begin document. I have end document. I will cite it somewhere and I will create a list somewhere here, bibliography. So three things. I'm including the package, I'm citing, I'm creating the list. Three things I have to focus. Anytime I am creating bibliography, single one or multiple ones. So if I start with multipib, I will declare it this way. So there is my preamble. There is my preamble. And I'm writing it here. Use package. With one more thing, there will be a default name references. Anything new, second bibliography I want to include, I must write this one. And very simple. This is the declaration token, new sites. This says that you include one more bibliography with this name. The name of the second bibliography is the other list of references. It's token to remember the label. Label is new WW, any WW, which is useful. So this is package call. I'm doing it first. Preamble. In preamble, do two things only. Call the package multibib. Second, you describe what is the name of the second list by this format. New sites, and this is the label. This is the label I'm using inside my document, not useful for anything else. This is the long name which appears in the list as the title of the list. So this I'm naming as new WW. This is preamble. This is preamble. This is my reference.bib, which might appear like this. I have nothing special here. Now, this is my document body. This is my document body. Please look at it. There is a begin document and the end document. For two lists, I have to write these pair of items. This one is for default list. The name will appear as a references by default. I don't have to write this. So I declare style and I call my reference database reference.bib, which I just wrote earlier. For second bibliography, I do the same thing, bibliography style and bibliography with only token name added here. That's all. This will create the second list of bibliography, second bibliography. Which reference appear in the default and which reference appear in the bibliography, it's in the document body. Look at it here. If I plainly cite, it will go into default. But if I cite with its token, new any WW, this will go into this list there. So any site by normal site will go into default reference list, first list. Any site by this token, site any WW, will go into the second list. That's all. Now you can have any number of lists. There is no problem. Right? Okay. So this is the overleaf screenshot. And look at the right side. This is the default list. And this is the other list of references which are declared, which is coming because of first I have a package declaration, use package multibib. Then I declared this one, other list of references with tagging any www. And I generated the second list by this. Bibliography style any www and bibliography any www. Right? And I cited with this. Cite any www. Right? I go ahead now and take a demo with other packages also. Right? So let me go to demo. It's better. It will give you little. Only thing is my screen is limited. So that way I'll have to depend on that part. Okay. So I go to multi-bib, right? So please see here. I am not sure. Somebody has to write in the chat if these contents are visible to you. Can I go ahead? These contents are visible to you. The middle one, characters. Yeah, thank you, sir, Sunil. So I can go ahead now. I again go back and see the preamble. My begin document is here. My begin document is here. Before that is preamble. So I declare the multi-bib package. Then I'm trying to create 5 lists, each one from my student. Publication from Ulhas Deshmukh, publication from Lokesh Garg, publication from Mahen Prasad, and so on and so forth. So I declare new site, 5 new sites I declare. Their names are these: publication of Deshmukh, so on, so on, so forth. The token is their name itself, Ulhas or Garg or whatever. Please remember that, right? Then I create that list here. How do I create a list? My default list is this one. This is a default list. These are separate 5 lists I'm trying to create. Or maybe this is not default, this is the first one also. So this is for Ulhas. See, I'm just adding that token. Bibliography style Ulhas. Bibliography Ulhas. And I have to include real database here. Right? Real database here. So those databases are here. Ulhas, Deshmukh. The Lokesh Garg database. There is a Lokesh Garg database. I'm calling them 5 times. The third part, how to generate list. If I go back, I see the first one, the preamble declaration. This first one. Then if I go back, this is my second one. Creating a list, or third one rather. Second one is how to call them in the document body. This is how I call them in the body. Just see. Begin document, and I'm calling. Mr. Ulhas Deshmukh has published 5 papers, cite, and token Ulhas. Mahen Prasad has published 10 papers. I cite and put a token here, Prasad. Right? So the respective sites will come from those BIP files only, 4 or 5 BIP files only. Keys, I have separately called them up. I have called the keys also that way, right? So that way I can create multiple lists. And if you look at the left side, right side, I already have them. I'm saying Ulhas has published 5 papers and these citations are appearing. Mahen Prasad has published 10 papers, all citations are appearing, right? So right side, the list, first list is publication of Ulhas Deshmukh. Second list is publication of Garg. Third is publication of Prasad. Fourth is publication of Rajan, right? And the last one is publication of Sai. The whole list has appeared here. 5, I have created 5 of them. But they all appear at the end of the document. Ravi and Sunil, can I take 10 minutes more just to go through quickly? You know?
Sure, sir.
Thanks for your patience, my colleagues. I just want to convey to you the way one thing is remaining. All these lists will appear at the end of the document. What if you want these lists at the end of every chapter? So the slight tweak is there, right? But first we'll still do with different packages. We have done it with a package multi-bib. We can do the same thing what we have done now with the package bib-latex. And we can do the same thing by other package bib unit. I will quickly go through all these 3 packages and come back to chapter-wise bibliography, last concept. I just want to discuss with you. Right. So now we use you can say the package bib-latex. Please start using bib-latex. It's a very comprehensive, very powerful package, right? Bib-latex. It replaces the bib-tech, in fact, no. So in preamble, I call it use package bib-latex. Don't bother about anything else. What goes inside these square bracket here are just options. Sometimes they're useful, sometimes not. So you can forget about this. You just say use package bib-latex. That's all. You can forget about this for a moment. It is use package bib-latex. That's all. Right? This first declaration. Call the package. Once I call the package, the bib-latex has a different format. So we are doing it. It calls the database here by this command, add bib resource. It does not have bibliography, style or bibliography at the end of a document. No. The way to include databases here itself in the preamble. It is slightly changed. But once you learn it, it is very powerful. So I have 2 databases here if you look. Right? Sample.bib and test.bib. I must include both of them. So I'm including the sample bib here, imports the bibliographic file, add bib resource, the name of the database, add bib resource, name of the database. As many database you have, write so many lines. That's all. Very easy. Done. Then let's go to the last, third part. This is the first part. Preamble, declaration, and inclusion of package, and inclusion of database. First part. Third part is how to print the bibliography. So I'm printing many bibliographies, right? To print a bibliography in bibliothèque, this simple command, print bibliography, that's all, nothing else. No style file, styles are all given in the upside preamble. To just print bibliography, that's all. Now I am printing here 7 bibliographies. This is the first one. This is the second one. Don't bother about the option inside. This is the third one. Its title is changed. Changing title is very easy here. When you call print bibliography, you say title. If you don't say title here, the title name will be references by default. If you want to change it, then you give the title here. Whole bibliography. The third print bibliography, the title only journal papers. Fourth bibliography, title books only. Now there is slight change here. Print bibliography, title is physics related only. So far, okay. And we change nothing in your body. The body has no change at all. Citations will be as usual. No change in citations. Right? You may have to do that separately if you want to do that. No change in citations. Now the point is, if I am doing this, articles only, how do I collect the articles only? Then I have to give this command, type equal to article. That means all those which appear as this @ article in my database, all of them will be picked up here. So I say type book, all those entries which are @ book, all entries in my database will be picked up, and with title book only will be displayed. I can change slightly. If I want mixing, article also, book also, I can say physics related. Title is physics related only. Then inside that entries, I will create a token here, keywords. If it is physics, keyword is physics, I will write physics here. Those papers which I tag it as physics, I will put inside those all entries keywords equal to physics. Some other papers, I can write keyword equal to LaTeX. You can do it multiple times. So you can say physics also and LaTeX also. Physics, LaTeX. Then for this bibliography, physics read only, all those entries will be taken up which declare keyword as physics. Right? So let us have a look at the BibTeX database. How do I do that? So this is your sample bib. Here, if you see, the keyword physics is declared. Here, keyword as LaTeX is declared. This keyword is LaTeX and Nuth, two keywords. This keyword is Nuth and programming. So you can tag every entry with any keyword you want. And in your main file, the things will appear. Right? So this is the way to print multiple bibliographies by using BibLaTeX. Very strong package. And once you learn, the rendering is excellent. And you can play with it in many ways. And we can use this also for chapter-wise bibliography. These are all end of the chapter. So after this document has ended, this is the first section, second section, document ended. Now the list will come. List is references, right? Then the whole bibliography, the article only, book only, and physics reader only, right? Books only, article only, physics, LaTeX, like that. This is multiple bibliographies where we still use BibLaTeX, but we categorize which paper to go where, not by keywords or type, but it is more versatile. We do it by saying these two things. As usual, BibLaTeX is invited. As usual, I have a single database, refs.bib, only one database, and I want multiple bibliographies. So these are the steps. Step 1, step 2. You declare a bibliography by some category, not keywords or type, category. So declare bibliography category math, declare bibliography category physics of PHYS, and you also declare here in category math which are the papers to be included, paper 3, paper 5, paper 7. In physics, which paper to be included, paper 4, paper 7, paper 10. And then third part is printing, which is same as earlier. Print category equal to math, print category equal to physics. That's all, nothing else. And you can give titles, of course. If you want all of them to appear, or you are printing without math and physics, you say no category math, no category physics. So all references which are not in category math and physics will appear here. Look at the right side. This is general, which is non-physics, non-math. This is math. One paper are declared, paper 3, physics reading paper 4. They all appear here, right? This is a very strong method using a very strong package, BibLaTeX, by category wise. This is a standard method, a very good method for creating multiple bibliographies, right? The last one, maybe five more minutes. Last one is chapter wise. Chapter wise bibliography. So look at the right side, abstract, content, first chapter, the section of chapter and the references. It appear here. Every chapter has references. Look at this. Chapter 1 references, chapter 2 references, and lastly, my final reference list. 3 references, but 2 of them or 2 of the bibliographies are inside the chapters. No? In chapter 1, separate one, chapter 2, separate one. This appears like this. First chapter, and it has separate references. Chapter 2, it has separate reference list. And at the end of the document, we have a separate list. The left side, how to do it? Again, let us go back to preamble. Preamble, right? I declare inclusion of BibLaTeX, right? Inclusion of BibLaTeX. Yeah, it is there, right? BibLaTeX, that way. And add the database. These two are standard for BibLaTeX. Call the BibLaTeX package and include the database here. That's all, right? Then in each chapter, I'm doing only one thing here. I forgot to tell you. Those 2 lines which are in preamble, calling the database bibliotech, including the database sample.bib, which is here. I also have done this. Ref section declaration. Ref section declaration. This is important. So I'm declaring, if I'm printing the bibliographies, those sections I have to refer are what? Are they chapters? Are they parts? Part, chapter, section, subsection, and so on and so forth. That means I can generate the bibliography of each part, or bibliography at the end of each chapter, or I can generate bibliography at the end of section, or at the end of every subsection. Let us take this is more usable. So I'm declaring it as a ref section chapter. That's all. Simple, very simple. In first 2 lines, preamble. That's done. Next is body, which is very easy. We just have to say print bibliography, nothing else. This is first chapter. Just call print bibliography, that's all. So whatever you refer in the chapter will appear here. Second chapter, whatever you refer in the chapter will appear here. So this is second bibliography, this is first bibliography. There is nothing we are doing. We just are doing print bibliography, that's all. Print bibliography, which is standard with the bibliotech, right? In the last, if you want, it will say print bibliography. And title, you can say list of publications or references. And those references you want extra, you say no cite. They will all appear, right? So we have given 2 labels. The both labels have appeared here in the last, that way, right? So I think I should stop here in favor of time. I have taken already 20 minutes more. I stop here. I will share these overleaf files with you. You can put them on the overleaf. I will share them as a zip files. The process will be, I will also let you the process actually.
So thank you so much, sir. Participants, do you have any queries? Please.
Just one thing, yeah, queries can come. Just one thing I just want to say. When I'm sharing with you all those, you can say zip files from overleaf. So from overleaf, I will share you with one file which contains all the information. Say zip. You download this on your desktop and again upload in your overleaf. That's the process. I will not be able to share with all of you in my overleaf because I cannot share more than 2 or 3 people. So it's better that I share file zip on the canvas. Many files for all my demos, file 2 zip, file 3 zip. You download them onto your desktop and again upload on your overleaf. They will all open as a single project. So each zip file you unzip on your desktop, and each file you upload as a separate project, project 1, project 2, and so on and so forth. That's my recommendation. So file 1 zip unzip goes to project 1. File 2 unzip goes to project 2, like that, right? Fine. Thanks, and it was nice being with you. Any questions are there? We can take it. Tomorrow we will be discussing When a database becomes very large, how to handle it? We have seen today the multiple bibliography generation. We have not done any effort for database. Tomorrow we'll see how to manage large databases, and using that large database, how to search using the AI tool. Some 2 or 3 prompts only. I will not go to the prompts and searching actually. I will just let you know which are the tools which can handle large databases, can sit on your desktop, and how can you do some searching inside from that tool using AI tool. Integrated in that tool only. So one of them is Zebref and Jotaro. Yeah.
So thank you so much, sir, for this today's talk. So
Right.
participants,
Right.
you have any query?
I have uploaded my slides. It has email.
Okay,
Even if
sir.
you have some later queries, you can email me.
Okay, sir.
So
Sure.
thank you all. Thank you, Sunil. Thank you, Ravi.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so
I'm
much,
leaving.
sir.
Thank you.